Next, I want to cover targets. The nice thing I really like about moving over to UML is we can use any target we want. Paper or steel. Doesn't matter. Clay. They don't limit you. Okay? They have their own targets which we'll be using, but we'll be mixing in other small, like the little IPSC tiny targets, 1/3 size, things like that, and some of the bays to toughen up our rifle shots for people. However, one of the things that UML does do, it does go over to USPSA for the non-penetrating. So they say that the first target you go through is the only target that the bullet counts on. It's not the case. 3-Gun Nation, we followed penetrable targets, meaning that wherever the bullet went in its hole, I'm not talking about a ricochet where it splits into multiple fragments and fragments a target. I'm talking about in its hole. Penetrable all season. It will be on the written stage briefing. So if you're used to UML rules or USPSA rules, forget about them. Think of the 3-Gun Nation rule set. If you shoot through a target and hit a no-shoot behind, you're getting the penalty for the no-shoot. The plus to this is if you have a no-shoot in front and you shoot through a no-shoot that's over the top of a cardboard ticket, your target, you're not going to get penalized for the miss because it goes through, obviously, but it's a tough way to shoot a cardboard target. So all targets, paper targets, are deemed penetrable this season at Ontelaunee. We are using EMG, low scoring penalties, because we have small course. We're not using the traditional, which is large course for the year. They're very simple. It's scored your time, and they have a scoring system. I'm not going to go into it with you, but basically 1 in the A zone or 2 on the target. Knock over the target if it's a steel, or hit it if it's a non-falling target. But that's very simply it in a nutshell. Now, here is where it's going to get a little bit, I'm not going to say hard, but you're going to say, well, failure to follow stage procedures and shooting under walls and things like that, okay? UML basically says if it's in the written stage briefing and you don't follow it and you fail to follow it, then it's a penalty. Okay? The key here that I want everybody to understand, okay, is in 9.1.2.1. Minimum target engagement per gun listed in the written stage briefing. So, if you remember last year, I was telling you in the written stage briefings, I was getting you ready for UML, that you had to use 2 of your guns, or at least 3 of your guns, and you had to neutralize at least 2 targets or 3 targets. That's the way UML works. If it's not written in there though, okay, minimum firearms required per stage for all divisions is 2. So you always have to use at least 2, okay? And you have to eliminate 3 targets. You got to engage them, okay? Engagement into 3 targets, not neutralize. So you're going to have to watch on the written stage briefings, because I'm going to be following that terminology like I did last year and adding in so many firearms, so many targets. Okay? Also, failure to follow stage procedures. One of the things that UML allows you to do, okay, and it's important that you all understand this one. This is very important. USPSA, you have a free fire zone, but you can run anywhere you want as long as you're just shooting from within the free fire zone. Ontelaunee 3-Gun does not follow that suit. We follow the 3-Gun Nation rule set. Everything at an Ontelaunee stage outside of the free fire zone will be considered a forbidden zone, and you will be penalized for exiting the free fire zone. It's very simple. Don't leave the free fire zone. Another one of UML rules is different than 3-Gun Nation in that you could ground a firearm into a grounding container and go use another firearm, ground it, and then go back and reuse the old firearm that you already grounded. And in 3-Gun Nation, they penalized you for it. In UML, we don't. So there is no penalty for reusing a firearm unless it's written in the written stage briefing that it is not against the rules, like it was in 3-Gun Nation, to reuse a grounded firearm in UML. Okay, last but not least, before we go, I promise you all the vlogs in the future won't be anywhere near as boring as I have been this time. We're going to show more shooting and more information about the matches when we actually get into the season, and not so much me talking. There'll be compilations of videos and standings and scoring and the outcome of the matches. Sort of like just a really simple recap. However, this is the simplest way that I know to get some of those points across in the beginning of the season before we all show up and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. In the meantime, I want everybody to understand that we are planning on shooting the May 2nd and 3rd match. However, we will be limiting it to 50 shooters a day to stay within the 50 people congregating in one place. Depending on how the governor lists everything, we may go to 60 if need be, because we can do separation. We have plenty of room to keep everybody apart. So, but for right now, we're limiting it to 50 people for each day of the match. I want to thank you for taking the time. Hopefully you didn't get bored and turn me off. I know this is not really that exciting, but it is information about the season that you need to know. If you have any questions, you can email me at ontelaunee3gun@gmail.com. I'm not asking you to like the videos or subscribe or anything that to the YouTube channel. You can if you like, but my goal is to get the 6 or 7 vlogs out to you during the season so that we all know what's going on. Okay? So until next, about a week and a half from now, the week before we, right around April 28th, I'll have another vlog come out on the season for the May match. Till then, everybody, keep your head down, and hopefully we see you in 2 weeks. Take care.